saw how a Venn diagram could be used to represent information, and that information could be represented in a Venn diagram when each set was defined by listing the elements of that set. And we could also represent information on a Venn diagram provided that only the cardinal numbers of given set was given. In that case, each region would contain just the cardinal number. While if the elements of the set are given, each region in the Venn diagram will be made up of those elements given, written in the respective regions without commas. Today we are going to continue with two more examples on how to represent information in a Venn diagram involving cardinal numbers. We had 3 examples last time. Today let's take the 4th problem. In a class of 35 students, every student studied at least one of the 3 languages. And the languages are English, French, and German. So English is represented by E, French by F, and German as G. Now, it is known that 17 students studied French, 22 studied English, 12 studied English and German, 9 studied French and German, 7 studied only English, and 3 studied all 3 languages. Find how many students studied A, French and English, B, French only, C, German. So given information like this, the best way to find what you've been asked to find, just as in A, you have been asked to find how many students study French and English, and in B, you have been asked to find how many students study French only, while in C, you have been asked to find how many students study German. The best way to solve this kind of problem is to represent that information in a Venn diagram, though you have not been told to draw a Venn diagram, but it is the easiest way to solve that problem. So we'll solve it by first of all representing that information in a Venn diagram, and from there the various regions will be clearly seen and the problem will be clearly solved without any difficulty. So let's solve that problem. our Venn diagram, we use a rectangle to represent a universal set. And we have three sets. We have English, French, and German. So students studying French, English, and German. To draw the Venn diagram, we start inserting those values from the intersection of all the sets given. We have students who study English, some study French, and some study German, while there are others who study all three languages. So to draw the Venn diagram, we start with the intersection of all three languages. And looking at those values given, we have the last statement saying that 3 studied all 3 languages. So we will start from there and we shall go upward. We start from 3 studied all 3 languages. So if 3 studied all 3 languages, we can easily write that 3 in that region. And the next statement says 7 studied only English. Only English means you study English without any other subject. So there's a difference between studying English and studying only English. Studying English means you can study English and you study another subject. But studying only English means you study English without another. So 3 studied all 3 languages. We have that value. And you discover that that value 3 falls within all the circles. If you follow any circle, the circle for French, English, and German, you discover that 3 falls within all of them. So that's the intersection of all 3. The next statement, going onward, it says 7 studied only English. So the region for English only should contain 7. So we insert 7 in that region. So you discover that where you are seeing 7, 7 falls within the circle for English only. If you follow any other circle, it will not contain that 7. So we have rightly fixed that 7. The next sentence says 9 studied French and German. So French and German is different from saying French and German only. If you study French and German, you can be studying French and German with another subject. But studying French and German only means you study French and German without studying another. And here you are told 9 studied French and German. So French and German, you follow the circles. Discover that the circle for French and that of German will intersect. And 3 plus 6 gives 9. Since we have already had 3, studying all 3 languages, the other region, we study French and German only, will contain 6, making 3 plus 6 equal 9. The next statement says 12 studied English and German. If 12 studied English and German, and we have already written 3 studying all 3 languages, which means we have already written 3 people who are already studying that English and German. So the remaining number to make up that 12 is 9. So that 9 goes to the region for English and German only. The next sentence says 22 studied English. 22 studied English simply means if you add all the values within the circle for English, the answer should be 22. So following that circle for English, we have 3, 7, and 9 already listed. So adding that 3 plus 7 gives 10. 10 plus 9 gives 19. So what is lacking to make that 22? It is 3. So that 3 will go to that region for the circle for English, which is unfilled. So that makes 3. So you add those figures within the circle for English, it makes up 22. And we have 17 students studied French. 17 students studied French means you add all the values within the circle for French, you should give 17. So the values we already have are 3, 3, and 6 within the circle for French. We add that, we have 3 plus 3, it makes 6. And 6 plus 6 makes 12. So what is lacking to make up that 17? You have 5. Therefore, 5 will go to that uncompleted region for the circle for French. And that region refers to those who studied French only. But in our question, you were told in a class of 35 students, every student studied at least one of the 3 languages, meaning that all the students studied at least one language, and there were 35 students in the class. So all the figures will fall within those circles. There will be no figure out of the circle since every student studied at least one language. Therefore, if we add all the figures within the circles, it should amount to 35, since there were 35 of them. So adding what we already have, 5 plus 3 gives 8, plus 3, 11, plus 6, 17, plus 7, 24, plus 9, you have 33. So what is lacking to make 35? It is 2. Therefore that 2 will go to that region for German which is not filled. Therefore we have 2 there. Therefore if all these figures are added, we are going to have 35. So that Venn diagram has been drawn. So we now use it to find what you were asked to find. A, you were asked to find how many students studied French and English. So French and English is the same as F intersection E. And talking of how many students, we are talking of a number. Therefore, we are talking of cardinal number. So A is the cardinal number of F intersection E will be equal to, so F intersection E, you have those 2 values, 3, 3. So all of that region, look at the intersection where the 2 circles meet. You start looking at the intersection from those meeting points. Discover that 3 and 3 are enclosed there. So cardinal number of F intersection E will be equal to 3 plus 3, which will give 6. Therefore, 6 students studied French and English. B, you were told to find how many students studied French only. And looking at the circle for French, discover that the number of students who studied French only will be equal to 5. Since only 5 students studied French without studying another subject. And C, we are asked to find how many students studied German. Studied German means the sum of all those figures within the circle for G. Therefore, the cardinal number of G will be equal to, we simply add all those figures within the circle for G, which are 9 plus 3 plus 6 plus 2, and that will give us 20. Therefore, 20 students studied German. We take another problem, number 5. A linguistic center offers studies in 3 languages: French, English, and German. Given that every student studies at least one of the 3 subjects, students study all the 3 languages. Study English and French. 44 study French and German. 60 study English and German. 67 study French. 95 study English, and 104 study German. A. Illustrate this information on a Venn diagram. B. Find the total number of students in the class. C. Find how many students studied only English. So you look at this problem carefully, following what we have done in that example 4, and attempt it. Draw the Venn diagram, and using that Venn diagram, find the total number of students in the class, and also find how many students studied only English. So you look at this carefully, and in our next class, we are going to start with a solution. We'll solve this in our next class and have another problem which will be a little more complicated than this one.